Welcome to the Old Loomis channel again. This is a quick video review of a light I got from T-Mart. This is the Tangspower, T-A-N-G-S Power, for AK-96. It's a 2X 18650 light. I just got them in the mail today from T-Mart, and I thought I'd show you what I've... hang on a second. Okay, back at it again. It looks like the early warning system was going off here for a test, only a test. Anyhow, they came in white boxes as normal, with a sleeve over the light and then a separate extension, so they weren't together in the box. I mean, they had the sleeve separating them, but there was no sleeve on the extension. For a first look, I don't see any nicks or dings on it. The finish is pretty much our standard anodized finish, black anodized finish. Overall, they look like they're not made too bad at all. I mean, I'm sort of surprised. They look fairly decent quality. Now remember, this light at T-Mart is under $10. I was really surprised that this light was going for under 10 bucks. Anyhow, I'm going to take it apart here and see what I can find out about it. It's the tail cap is fairly stiff coming off until it clears the O-ring, and then it comes off easily. The threads are not square cut. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they are lubed with a clear lubricant, and it's really cold in here, so that lube is really thick. But the threads are not anodized. Okay, so you'll want to make sure you always use lubricant on them for anything aluminum. The tail cap looks like it probably wouldn't tail stand. Well, it will tail stand, but you can see that the string for the lanyard does not. It goes over the top of the edge of the tail cap, so it'll tail stand, but it might be a little wobbly. Okay, standard clicky switch, and there's a brass cap over top of the spring for the clicky, and the ring in there you can use it like a pair of pliers or anything you can get into two holes to spin out that ring and take the whole assembly out. See if we can get the body off of here real quick. Again, it's not, there's no squeaks and squeals, so it's all lubricated very well. O-rings on both ends, and then here's the extension. And again, no squeaky squealy when you put it together. The extension is perfectly round, where the first part of the body has the flats for the AK-96 and the Tangspower. So, and the knurling does match, so that's pretty good. We'll leave that apart here. Again, like I say, they're not square cut threads, but they are lubed very well, and they're non-anodized threads. The reflector, which you can't see too well here in the camera, is a very deep reflector. I'm going to say it's probably less than 50 millimeters, that's for sure. It only looks like it's going to be about 40 millimeters for diameter, but it's got to be 60 millimeters deep at least, or more. I don't know how that's going to throw, but it doesn't seem like there's any lube on these threads for the bezel, which I'm not surprised at. Okay, there's your bezel. And looks like an O-ring in here above the lens. Here we go. Looks like an O-ring above the lens, which not seated real well. You can see it's pinched a little bit. I would prefer it between the lens and reflector, but I don't think you can on this reflector. It is a glass lens. Measures approximately 42 millimeters in diameter and about a millimeter and a half thick. If it says it's coated, it probably is coated, probably a single coating, not multi-coat. The reflector measures about 41 diameter, and overall length is about 55. I don't favor the super deep reflectors as far as being a pinpoint spot, but it's more about diameter than length. But anyways, it is a very deep reflector. The bottom end that sits on the LED is totally flat, totally flush. The diameter of the LED hole is about 7 millimeter standard diameter. Now, this light has an XRE in it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and see if we can take this apart here. Take the pill section off the head, and the head has the head itself in the section where the pill is has three very thick fins on it. The whole head is pretty hefty. The pill just threads into it, and you can see you have an XRE in there, and you have a plastic covering over top of the LED and the wires, and that, of course, the reflector sits right on top of that plastic covering, and it looks like the insert for the LED can be threaded out. There's two holes here, so it looks like it can be threaded out. Also, you see there's the drivers down the back here, and it looks again that there's a retaining ring in that, which can be threaded out with a pair of needle nose or so it's sort of interesting, you know, to me that for a $9 light you have an aluminum reflector, which this reflector is in real good shape. I mean, I don't see any marks anywhere on that reflector at all, so it seems to be done really well. You know, aluminum reflector, a glass lens, an extension for two 18650s, and it seems like it's a fairly nice pill. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this apart to see if it's a hollow pill or not. I don't know that yet, so that's what I'm going to do here, so you just have to hang on a minute. Okay, excuse me, I've gotten the pill out of the back end of the head. It's just basically a separate section for just the pill. The pill screws out. It does have an XRE on it. It looks like a 16 millimeter star. Got a lot of thermal paste on it, but at least it's got thermal paste on it. It appears to be a solid pill. Okay, so the LED is sitting on a shelf, a full shelf. Here's the driver. Now this is most likely going to be a 17 millimeter. Yeah, that's a 17 millimeter driver. Okay, and this thing should take one or two cells. So let's take a look here. It's got to be a combination of a buck driver and, well, not necessarily linear, but anyways, I don't know if you're going to see much of for the driver, but that's the driver. The wires look to be about 24 gauge, possibly 26 gauge wires. Overall, like I say, I'm surprised and I'm impressed. I mean, all the threads in this thing are pretty good. None of them are squealing, squeaking, rubbing against each other. Even taking the pill out, of course, it didn't have any thermal grease on it or anything like that. But even taking the pill out was easy to do. Everything came apart really easily. So I'm really surprised at that. I'm going to throw a couple cells in the other one, and we'll see what we get from that. But initial impression, it's not bad at all. Now, I don't know if I would want to throw an MTG2 in this or not because, um, well, the diameter of the inside of the reflector for the LED, the hole for that, I don't know if you could open that up enough. You could probably open it enough for an MTG2, but not enough to set it down any farther than just the top of the dome itself. You couldn't get it past the substrate. I don't think it's big enough for that. It might be really nice for an XML2. Um, and maybe with a stock driver, I don't know, we'll get some amp draws here on the other light and see what we get from that. So I'm going to pause here and go put some cells in that other driver. But first impressions is, I mean, for the price, under 10 bucks, not bad at all. Not bad at all. We'll see how it looks when I put some batteries in it. Okay, I have one cell in this. I'm going to try it with one cell first. So I'm just going to turn the light on here and see what we got. That's a pretty tight spot. I mean, it's a real tight spot. Let's see what modes we got. That must be low mode, blinky, SOS. That looks like high mode, medium, low. There's your strobe. There's your SOS. And there's your high mode again. I mean, it really is a real tight spot. There's it's ringy out in here. There's an outer ring, but that's XRE. I always see that in XRE. But it's a pretty intense little spot. I'm going to try 2 cells with it. Okay, I've got 2 cells in it, and I don't notice that it's any brighter with 2 cells than it is with 1 cell. That's high. It might be just a hair brighter, but it doesn't seem to be really much brighter at all. Of course, it's daytime, so I can't do any long distance stuff. I'll take it to work with me and see what it looks like, for any kind of a distance. But it's got a really tight spot. I mean, I think that it might be really nice for an XML. And with the fact that it takes a 17 millimeter driver, that's where it is with 2 cells. I mean, just a long, skinny light. With a 17 millimeter driver, it might be a nice little thrower for a real low cost. And with the fact that there is a shelf for the LED, I'll go back down here again and take a look. The fact that there is a shelf on the pill, full shelf for the LED, and that a 17 millimeter driver will fit right in place. The only thing you're going to find is probably this ring here for holding the driver in will probably hit the 7135 chips. So you might want to use one of the drivers that's one-sided, most likely. I mean, there's several of them, but I think there's one that's the LED for power makes that might put out 4 or 5 amps to an XML2 or an XML. Anyhow, I'm really impressed. It seems to be a very nice light for the price. Both the lights that came in, I didn't see nicks or dings on them. They both disassembled really and assembled really well. The threads are good, and I mean all the all the threads that need to be are coated with a thread lubricant. So pretty impressed. Pretty impressed. Thanks to T-Mart, even though I bought them. Thanks to T-Mart, and of course I'll be modding these 2 lights, but might be something you want to pick up until it goes back into regular price. Thanks for watching.